Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Woo!
Live!
It's almost baseball season.
And that's about all we can say about that. But this is it. This is our 23rd episode.
Dang.
It will be our last one. We decided tonight will be the end for the season.
Yep.
Until next season.
We might do something around the draft, but we're going to take a few months to decompress and get some regular sleep on my end.
Yep. Are we doing anything for the draft?
He just said we might.
We might.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like maybe we should do like an episode.
We should.
Yeah, we definitely should do an episode of the draft.
Reactions
to who we get.
And then when like free agency opens and we assign a whole bunch of offensive linemen.
Hi, Brian.
We feel you, Brian.
Whoa, skull.
Yeah, I think Queesy's main concern should be getting 5 men in front of our new quarterback who can protect him.
Yeah. Yep. And just 3 more. We got Darissa and O'Neal.
Just 60% of our offensive line needs to be replaced.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, it's time. Well, in case you aren't aware or are trying to forget, we did lose on Monday night, 27-9, in what will now be the last game of the season. Sadly, I predicted the 18-point loss.
Oh man.
The game was almost over on the first 2 drives of the game.
Yeah.
With the Rams going straight down the field and the Vikings going 3-and-out. It set the tone for what turned out to be a really ugly game in a lot of ways.
It's one of those games, and last week was the same way, where it's like, I so much want to pin this on the refs because we got screwed last week with at a grounding in the end zone that should have been a safety, and we got screwed this week with what should have been
a grounding or a fumble.
At minimum, a grounding, and they ruled it an incomplete, but it should have been 7 points our way. And I so much want to pin this on the blatant missed calls by the refs.
But you can't.
But we did nothing to help ourselves.
No.
On offense. We didn't do anything to help ourselves on offense.
That's what I kept saying. I was like, that play, was it? Am I mad about it? Yes. Would it have changed the game? Probably. Did we do anything to help ourselves after it? No. Absolutely not. It was in the first half. And we had an entire half of football that we did not show up for.
We were still only down by 7 points, even with that terrible. And I saw it. And if you want to call that an incomplete pass, like he was definitely throwing the ball, right? But there was nobody in the area. If you're going to call that there was a guy in the area, they have to revisit the grounding rule. But so it goes from being a scoop and score that could have tied the game to a no call to basically just an incomplete pass in 2nd and 10. But you're right. That's not it. We had plenty of time. We decided instead of licking our wounds and going in at halftime down to go for it on 4th and 2 at midfield, which was a terrible idea. The way the offense was playing, the way the line was playing, I knew they weren't going to get it.
I knew we weren't going to get that 2-point conversion.
2 minutes.
Yeah. We haven't really done well with 2-point conversion all year.
There was just so much. Like, in all honesty, both of these games, I don't feel like the other team won.
Yep.
I feel like we lost.
That makes perfect sense, believe it or not. I hadn't seen this team quit in a game all year until that game Monday night.
Yeah.
It looked like I saw heads hanging at halftime.
Even that, but like even in the last, what they needed, it was the 3rd quarter, and they needed 2 more touchdowns, or was it 3? 3.
We were down by 18, so we needed
3.
We needed 3 scores.
they had zero hustle. Like, I know that it's, you know, a long shot, but how many times had Sam Darnold come back in other games? How many times has he made 97-yard drives? And it was the lack of like hurry up offense, the lack of anything on the offense just killed momentum on defense.
I agree.
What killed it for me of so much of like the biggest momentum hits were Sam Darnold getting sacked. And like times where it's like throw the ball, just throw it away, throw the ball, throw it away.
Something with it.
And, and it's like you have so much time to just throw it away.
Yes, our offensive line was not good and needs improvement. But the amount of times you heard the announcers say, throw the ball, the ball.
Yep.
The amount of time he had was adequate. If he had any kind of like guts or any kind of like, I'm going to throw the ball to someone, or I'm going to go with my gut, or if I don't know, he had enough time.
He didn't do the things he did during the regular season that got them the 14 wins. If you're not going to throw it, take off.
Yeah.
Take off with it like he did in the games during the regular season. Go get as many yards as you can going forward.
Yeah. Instead of running backwards.
Running backwards and side to side and just hoping somebody was going to be open. And it didn't work out.
What killed me, I mean, a lot of it killed me. But when you see a guy running at you and you have time to react as a quarterback, and you run backwards rather than just fall down, and you take a 12-yard sack
or a 5-yard sack.
You take a 12-yard sack rather than a 5 or 6 yard sack.
Yeah, there were plenty of opportunities. I wouldn't say it was every single time he got sacked or every single drive, but there were plenty of opportunities to throw to Addison, to throw to JJ or Jets, to throw to Naylor, to throw to Hawkinson.
Yep, he had the kind of game that makes people remember why he's a journeyman quarterback. I'll say that.
He had the kind of game that reminds everyone who he was.
Right.
Because we had all forgotten.
And he cost himself a lot of money, I think, with the way he played in the last game.
The last 4 games, I'd say.
No, the last 2 games. Because no. The Viking or the Vikings Packers game, he had like 300 yards.
Okay, that's fair.
The last two games.
The last 2 games in tight situations,
under
pressure situations, he didn't show up. And
it's the whole thing. Everybody wants a playoff quarterback because look at Mahomes. Mahomes is by far average during the season.
Yep.
But he is uncontested in the playoffs.
He is probably, I mean, we'll see this year, but he is the best playoff quarterback.
Yeah.
Because once the playoffs start, their offense turns into something else.
That's the knock on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson the opposite.
Lamar does not show up for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, and it was, I looked up the stats from the game just for fun. If you look at the stats, just the stats, it wasn't as bad as you think. The defense did a pretty good job. They held them for 2 for 10 on third downs. They gave up less than 300 yards in offense.
And I remember still in my hopeful Vikings brain, I remember still thinking we had a chance at halftime because the defense had been doing enough to keep us in the game. And we had the ball. We didn't have the ball. We had the ball we had the opportunity to score at the end of halftime and at the beginning of halftime.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're always looking for the double dip.
And so obviously that didn't happen. But like, I still in my heart of hearts, I was like, you know what? We could come back. There were until it was like 11 minutes left of the fourth quarter. I was like, they don't want to.
There was a little spark when Hawk got the touchdown.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they were just like, no, I don't really want to.
And then there was no sense of urgency after that.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Like we said, why weren't they playing a tempo offense? They should have done that anyway. The way the pass rushers getting through, go to tempo and keep them from getting settled in to do that.
Right?
Yep. Don't let them set up 5 and 6 man blitzes.
And we didn't do that.
Don't let them set up stunts and call the stunts.
They were stacking on 4-man rushes.
4-man, yeah.
They were stacking on 4-man rushes.
Yep.
There were, I would say, 8 sacks in the game.
9.
Nine.
It was 9. Yeah, because I stopped paying attention.
And I actually turned the TV off.
I would credit 3 to the offensive line.
Fair.
I think 6 of those he could have run for something. He could have gotten out of the pocket and thrown it away. He could have thrown it in the area of a receiver. And I feel like in at least 4 of them, he could have completed a pass.
Yeah.
Well before he was pressured.
Yeah.
He just wasn't seeing the game the way he had during the regular season.
No. And I don't know what I don't understand.
Part of me wonders, because there's all these analytics, and I only know the baseball side of everything that goes into analytics and understanding.
11:48 into the podcast.
Mark it off.
He actually brought it up right away when it's
at the beginning. He did.
Like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But like you have all these analytics on like as the season progresses and goes on, you have hot zones and cold zones for hitters throughout in their strike zone. It's like, okay, in the first half of the season, they were hot on XYZ, whatever. But what I'm getting at is like Sam Darnold's got a weak spot. He's got hot spots and cold spots based on how he's reading the defense. And going against a chess master like Sean McVay, who watches what's successful against Sam Darnold and as far as bluffing coverages and who's dropping where, I think he picked him apart.
I'm fully convinced McVay tanked the last game of the season because he wanted the Vikings because he knew he could beat them.
It's fair.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Because he could have gotten the 3 seed. If he'd won, he would have got the 3 seed.
Who'd they play?
The Commanders played in one. He would have played the Commanders as the 3.
No, who did the Rams play their last game?
The Seahawks.
And
they had a chance to win at the end, even with going with their backup quarterback, and they didn't. But they didn't play their starters because he wanted the Vikings because he knew he could beat them.
Yep.
And that's what I think I mentioned that at the last show.
Yeah.
McVay definitely tanked it because he knew he could beat the Vikings. He wanted no part of the Commanders.
I mean, they look good. Daniels looks good.
He didn't want any part of that team because he didn't know them. McVay's playing chess when we're all playing checkers, man. It's that easy.
I mean, it's the whole thing of it sucks for us.
Well, but they didn't know they were going to get the Vikings.
As the 4th seed, they kind of did.
Because the Vikings are the Lions. And if Sam Darnold showed up like he did against the Packers.
If Sam Darnold showed up against how he did in the first game of the season.
Honestly, if Sam Darnold showed up like he did against the Jags, I think we would have won. Any of those games.
I still think McVay had it in his head that the Vikings were going to lose to the Lions. He didn't have any faith that they could beat the Lions. And even if they did, I think he would have rather play the Lions, who were beat up on defense. His matchups would have worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah.
Again, playing chess when we're all playing checkers.
And he'd played them before.
Yeah. Yep. Because they played us.
Out.
He's not dumb. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yep.
That was those 2 losses were like soul crushing losses.
Absolutely.
Yep. And when our defense played so well, both games.
I wouldn't say our defense played so well this last game, but they played good enough for us to be able to win.
They played good enough, but it's more a matter of how well did they play in the first half?
That's fair. They played pretty well.
Aside from the first drive when they let them go right down the field.
Yeah, aside from the first drive.
Aside from that, right? They played really well the first half. They played really well coming out in the third quarter. And then the momentum shifted. And it was 3-and-out and interception. Like when you constantly have to be on the field because your offense is not producing or making mistakes, it gets tiring.
Yeah.
Well,
especially when it's like when Darnold's making the mistakes he did make. It was rough.
I was deflated, but I'm also numb to it now.
I am excited for pitchers and catchers to report. So,
oh my gosh. I will say, I do think that this kind of puts to bed the signing Sam Darnold to a really long contract.
Absolutely.
If they sign him to a 1-year deal, I think it'll be a waste of money, but it's something that if they don't think JJ's ready, but I think this is Jones. A handoff to, no, we don't.
We don't?
No, it's just 1 year. He could still leave.
But I mean,
nobody seems to want Nicky. We can go with Nick Mullins.
In all honesty, I wanted him to put Nick Mullins in.
Put it down
because Nick Mullins at least throws the freaking ball.
Yeah, he's got no fear. Nick Mullins is
the hero ball.
He gets rid of it. It might be the bad read, but he gets rid of it.
Yeah. Yes, we signed KOC to an extension.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
No doubt.
No doubt.
I can live with some of the mistakes he makes.
Like,
overall, it's his, third year coaching?
Yeah.
Head coaching?
Yeah.
And he's learning.
Oh, gosh.
If we away from Minnesota.
I will turn on the Vikings if we sign Rodgers.
They won't.
They won't. There will be no Rodgers. Number one, he's an awful teammate.
Yeah.
And they're all about team cohesion. Cohesion?
Yeah.
Number two, I'm not meaning to get political or anything, but the Vikings were very adamant about the safety of their players. And some of them didn't get vaccinated and some of them did, but it was also very respectful. And he's not respectful.
Nope.
He's not respectful about it at all. Nobody, like a lot of people didn't agree with Kirk, and that's fine. But it was a respectful conversation, and Kirk was respectful about it. Thielen was respectful about it. I mean, heck, we didn't even know Harrison Smith didn't get vaccinated. Everyone was calm about it. Yep. Aaron Rodgers is not. He would destroy that room. And lastly, he does not have a good record of training people under him. And he's a garbage quarterback, and he was garbage this last year. And if we bring him on, I'm gonna be heated. If we bring him on, I'm gonna be really mad. I might turn off the Vikings games until JJ starts.
You put him behind that offensive line and he'll get killed.
Yes.
Maybe we should. Yeah. Maybe we should sign him.
He'll be the next Deshaun Watson.
Maybe we should sign him. Let him get killed. Maybe I wouldn't be so mad about that.
No. I'd want to see us win.
I don't want that.
On that same thing, I saw a tweet earlier today about us signing Jair Alexander.
I wouldn't be mad about that, but
I wouldn't like it.
No, I don't want him in Minnesota either.
I don't like it. He's got a toxic attitude.
The biggest concern I have is our cornerbacks.
Offensive line. Well,
I think they're going to shore up the offensive line. I'm just concerned about what they're going to do at cornerback. I think that's their number one priority. In my head, that would be their number one priority.
I'm not worried about anything until I don't see anything done to fix it.
Fair.
That's fair.
I do hope we keep Murphy. I think he was awesome. I liked Griffin. I hope this isn't Harrison Smith last year. I really want him to get a ring. I so want him to get one.
Well, I'll tell you this. If he wants to get one, he's going to have to play at least 2 more seasons.
Yep.
Because I don't think next season's the season for the ring.
Unless we come out and JJ plays like Daniels.
Yeah.
We're playing a second place schedule next year.
Yeah. But it's also very much a...
But it's a second place schedule. I mean, the 49ers were supposed to be good this year.
Don't the Lions lose
the
a bunch of
Texans
people
were supposed to be good
year?
this year.
A lot of their guys going to free agency for the Lions.
They might sign him back, though. We don't know. Especially if they make a deep run into the playoffs. They may not want to lose that.
No, but like just in general, like I think the Lions are losing. Like they have a lot of guys coming up on free agency.
We have to see what they do. They may re-sign them, though.
Yeah.
Depends on what they want.
It's going to be that, and then it's also going to be how many of them are going to be asking for more money.
Right, yeah. It depends on it's all about the money situation.
Yeah, I agree. We're good at QB, Bob. I don't think we need anybody else.
No.
We start. I would like us to see a start JJ, and just write him out.
Yep.
Honestly, I would like to start the season with Daniel Jones just to see if KOC can really like stick it to people. And
the quarterback whisperer strikes again.
Right.
I would love that. And then JJ.
How sweet would it be if Daniel Jones is like, this? I'm not going to be a Darnold repeat. Trade me at like game 10.
Yeah. Because I feel like if Daniel Jones starts, if they're not ready for JJ to start, which is totally fine. He's literally 21 years old. Like he's a baby.
Yeah.
He is a baby. I think he's the youngest in the draft. Youngest quarterback in the draft.
We're talking kickers now. Come on, guys.
Yeah. We're going to keep Romo on retainer.
I would be surprised if he doesn't get signed by a team.
Oh, kickers are always in demand. If you can get somebody who gets a run, they're always looking for kickers.
I think Will is fine. I think he just...
I don't know if he was fully 100, like fully healthy.
Well, and I think they kind of messed with his mind a little bit, especially during the Lions game when they kept trying for touchdowns and not just taking the points. Like I get that you're playing the Lions and you're going to need points or you're going to need touchdowns, but at the same time, I feel like it's more deflating when you try for a touchdown and you don't get it than if you get a field goal. Then it's like, okay, at least we have points, you know? So I feel like it messed with his head a little bit during the Lions game. And then from there on, I just don't think he was.
He's also a rookie.
Who's going to coach the Cowboys? Probably Deion Sanders. And it would be freaking hilarious if Deion Sanders and Zim were on the same team.
Oh my
Imagine.
gosh.
Because Deion Sanders would keep Zimmer because he loves Zimmer. That would be hilarious.
They will crash and burn so fast.
I don't know.
Oh my God. The only reason his team is good is because his name attracts talent. That's the only reason the Colorado team is good.
That won't fly in the NFL. It'll fly in college.
Money talks in the NFL.
Yeah.
It is the Cowboys, though.
And,
it is one of the biggest markets.
And what are they going to do? They're going to go and draft another first-round running back.
No. Maybe they'll I don't know.
Yeah, first round. Jerry Jones still owns the Dallas Cowboys. First round running back.
Unless he drafts Deion's kid.
No, I don't. Jerry Jones.
Or what's his name? The Heisman winner? T. His name starts with a T, right? He's on Colorado. He's like this. If anything, he would probably draft him because he's like a wide receiver, running back.
Yeah, the kid who plays both ways. Yeah,
he can do it all. If anyone in the chat remembers his name, the Heisman. What's his name? That's gonna bother me. I can't think of their name.
Oh well.
But anyways.
Next.
What do you think? I think it's pure garbage. What do you think about the rumors that they're gonna trade KOC?
They're not.
So I was
There's
listening
no
to
way. That would be
K-Fan.
stupid.
I was listening to K-Fan this morning.
Travis Hunter is the title.
Travis Hunter. I knew it started with a T.
Yep.
I was listening to K-Fan this morning, and Paul Allen was talking about how these rumors don't come from nowhere. It is teams expressing their interest, but they're staying anonymous and expressing their interest in the wide open world to get people thinking about the possibility of it, right? And they were making, I don't remember, it's some guy who currently works for the Broncos. And I think he might be going to the Jets. Don't quote me on that. But he was KOC. He's going to be like a GM. He was KOC's roommate in college. And so
if we trade KOC, I want first round draft pick for the next 6 years.
If we trade KOC, I want first round draft picks for every single year KOC is their coach.
If we trade KOC, I want Kwesi's resignation letter on my desk in the morning. That's what I want.
I want first and second round draft picks for every year KOC is their coach.
So
that I think I could be happy-ish with that. Not happy, but like it would be a less bitter taste in my mouth. But
I don't even want to entertain that thought right now.
So I think it's garbage because why would you want to leave Minnesota and go to the Jets, who have
nobody wants to go to the Jets
historically like let's just talk about not even like the history of the franchise, but just the pure fact that like Minnesota is like the place to be when you talk about like the facilities, how they treat their players, how they treat their players' families, how they treat the community, how ingrained in the community they are, and how like they're A's on everything with the NFLPA. So like, why would you want to leave that and go to the Jets?
There's so much about this that I can't really get my head around.
It's like the JJ trade rumors last year. Oh, and there's JJ trade rumors again this year. I'm tired of it. I don't feel like there's any NFL team that gets as many trade rumors or gets as many of this stupid drama stuff as the Vikings.
Well, since I like have my Bo Nix fandom, I get a lot of the Broncos stuff on my like Google feed and whatnot. It happens. I think it happens everywhere because there are trade rumors. I mean, there's trade rumors about Sutton. There's trade rumors about Mims Jr. There's trade rumors about a couple of the offensive linemen.
Because that's the equivalent right now.
There's a couple
of people trying to create stories for their own.
Yeah. Clickbait.
And so it's just like I think it just happens everywhere. And I was gonna say, so Q. I think B-Flow will stay as long as he's given an adequate budget to reinforce his defense.
That makes sense.
I think,
which is why I do not think we can. I don't think we can sign. We can sign Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even think about Sam. Honestly, I'd let him walk.
I would too, but like I just don't even think that we can. Like, even if people want to franchise tag him, that's $40 million. That leaves us only $30 million left.
He's not worth $40 million.
He's not worth $40 million.
Nope.
I didn't even think he should stay when he was still doing amazing.
I didn't think we should franchise Kirk.
We didn't franchise Kirk.
We were paying him like it.
Fair.
Do we want to pick stars from this disaster, or do we want to just bypass that?
Bypass it.
Yeah.
I mean, our defense as a whole, I'd say.
I would have given it to all the fans from Minnesota who traveled to Arizona to watch.
Yeah.
All the Arizona natural fans.
They were my stars.
Yep.
Shout
out to Sal and Jason.
And I don't think either of us had an X factor that really mattered either.
We can't end in a tie, though.
We can end in a tie. It's fine.
We can end in a tie.
I think we're going to have to.
All right. Means you guys only get half a trophy.
It's fine.
No worries. Donovan McNabb says it's okay that we ended.
Okay.
After 2 games, he's now worth a fully guaranteed popcorn fart.
Hey, don't pick on popcorn.
We're just saying they give you some sneaky farts. That's all.
Well, what we should do, and we talked about this, I think we need to do our end of the year awards, our first annual 3Bs, and there'll basically be an award from each of us for each category instead of picking a winner. So let's start with your offensive player of the year. And we can all pick the same person in this one. We don't have to pick somebody different.
Okay.
So your OPY for the Vikings, go Cora.
I'm going to pick Addison.
He had a good year.
He had a really good year. He came in up until the last few games, he came in very clutch and he honestly made a case for himself. Not that we will trade him, but he made a case for himself that he could be a wide receiver 1 somewhere. So having him as our wide receiver 2 is incredible. Some of the catches that he made were, honest to goodness, we would sit there and be like, how did he catch that? How did he catch that?
Yeah.
So I pick Addison.
Good pick. I like it. What do you got, Dan?
I'm between Addison and Oliver.
There's no betweens.
I know.
Pick one.
I'm going to go with Oliver just to be different because Hawkinson was out and Oliver stepped up.
And I don't think Hawkinson was as big of a game-changing player as we expected him to be when he came back in.
Yeah, we said that before. He didn't come back with a vengeance like we thought he would.
Yeah. But, I mean, while he was out, Oliver stepped up.
He did. And he still made plays when he was in.
Even when Hawkinson was back, Oliver was still there making catches, making plays.
Yeah.
And I think he proved himself to be a solid asset to the team. He didn't make any crazy, absolutely outstanding plays, but he was solid on blocking. And as far as he became a receiving tight end, even though he runs really slow.
Oh my God.
Even though he's not going to win many races.
No, he's not going to win the race, but he could catch the ball.
Boy, I'm going to be boring. Justin Jefferson.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought about that because he said, I mean, it's Justin Jefferson. But you always say that you can't be boring. So I went for Addison instead.
I have to give credit where credit's due.
He's the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yep.
JJ makes everybody around him better.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, more than just his performance.
Yep.
So
his
much.
attitude
Off the field.
He blocks. When he's involved in the play, he blocks.
He sets the standard for the rest of the offense to act. Because I can't remember which game it was, but they were talking about where Addison made it seem like he gave up on the play. And then he went in and he ran into the end zone and caught a touchdown because he gave up on the play and acted it. And they were talking about how Justin Jefferson does that a ton, where he'll just make it seem like, oh, I'm not getting the ball, and he'll give up, but then he'll actually get in there.
Yeah.
He sets the tone for the offense.
Yeah, to me, it was really a no contest to take. I went with the best of the best, JJ. So those are our offensive players of the year.
And I think JJ, I honestly, JJ.
Yep.
If I'm not being different, JJ.
Yeah.
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 But if I'm being
Let's
different,
go to Cora's favorite side of the ball. As we just totally trash our whole format tonight.
Right.
The last one.
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year, Cora.
I think I have to go with Gernard. He was insane. He not only did he come in and just perform incredible, he came in and outperformed what literally everyone thought he was going to do.
Yeah. I could not go. I couldn't say anything bad about that pick at all.
No, that was, and in all honesty, I feel like he outperformed a lot. See, and Murphy, I want to keep him. If we don't keep him, that's going to be a signing that I will be very disappointed that they don't make happen. But I feel like Grenard outperformed Daniil when he was here. He made way more splash plays than Daniil. And I think part of the reason is that when you're playing against Hunter, you plan for it and you know what you're getting into. And I think Grenard surprised a lot of people this year.
Good pick. What do you got, Dan?
Metellus.
Gotta love him.
We all love him.
For the pure leadership aspect of the way he was able to bring such energy to the defense. I mean, it helps when your defense has people like Van Ginkel, Grenard, Cashman, Murphy, Smith, but the energy he brought and watching him in the pregame huddles, talking and hyping up the team, I absolutely loved it. I got to give it to Metellus. And his ability to play wherever you put him.
Oh my gosh.
You need a guy? Metellus.
And I think, was it Coda who said that she was the most worried about who was going to be the person who takes over Harrison Smith's leadership role?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Metellus.
Yep.
I'm picking Blake Cashman as mine.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
I have to pick Cashman. They lost one start. Well, two. Right? The games he played, they only lost two. The last two he played in. But
and he should have had a touchdown in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. He put up consistent numbers all year. Double-digit tackles more than once. He was a difference maker. And a kind of a quiet difference maker, I think.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting the big flashy plays. He was just all over the place.
Causing problems.
Yeah. So I'm taking Blake Cashman as mine. But all choices in there, solid.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really choose one clear winner on that one.
Yeah.
No, I think they're all solid picks.
Yeah.
And even Murphy would have been another one we could have put in there. And the one guy that we left out was Gink. I mean,
insane.
Just a great season for him.
I'm so happy that we have those people other than Murphy. I'm so happy we have them next year.
I'm incredibly happy that we have this sort of lineup of a defense for Dallas Turner to learn under.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think Turner's going to be an amazing player. And the fact that he gets to learn under these guys is, I think that's going to be a huge asset for him and for us as long as we keep him.
Because Dallas Turner, he's 21 too, right? He's really young as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I think he's only 21.
Yeah.
Imagine when he gets the man strength.
And that's when we drafted Daniil, right? When he was super, super young, and he didn't start the first. Nope. He didn't even start very many games his first year.
Nope, he didn't pick it up until his second year, I don't think.
Yeah. So I think everyone's like, oh, he's a bust. Like, I'm worried about him. I was like, no, because look at Daniil Hunter and how many games he started his first year. And then look at the career he currently still has, and currently still a game-changing player.
Yep.
I think Turner's got a big upside, and he showed a lot of promise this year. He did some interesting things, some good things.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't wait to see what he's like.
Progression throughout the year. In the beginning of the season, he wasn't quite picking up the game speed and the offensive line stunts and blocks as far as directions to flow downhill. And you look at him near the end of the season, and he's got it down.
That's fair. Zim didn't even start JJ till the game 3. Although I think Zim is just a butt face sometimes.
Zim doesn't like kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't like rookies at all.
Unless they're female. But that's another story.
Yeah, unless he marries him.
Yeah.
Come on now.
His
No worse. His girlfriend's in her 40s.
fiance.
Fiance.
Well,
And how old is him?
but he's in his. It's only 20 years. It's not like the new
Oh,
North Carolina head coach.
20 years.
I'm comparing it to the new North Carolina head coach
Fair.
All right.
who decided to go back to college so he could watch his girlfriend and walk her to class.
Yep.
So, anyway, how about your play of the year? Cora, what's your play of the year?
So I had the 97-yard touchdown. I wrote that down, but in my head, I'm like, I don't know. It's very inspiring and super awesome, but Sam Darnold just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. So I have been thinking of one of the pick sixes that has happened. So I think I'm just going to go with the defensive pick sixes, and I can't pick out just one because I didn't do a good job of researching the just one. So one of those.
Oh,
Gink, yeah.
Gink's pick six.
Wait, how come Gink's pick sixes are our play of the year, but he didn't make our defensive player of the year on any of our lists?
Because one play doesn't define the year.
How many pick sixes did he have, though?
One.
2, and both of them were against New Jersey.
Yeah. But, like, 2 singular plays don't define a year.
Right, but
Right.
he still played lights out.
So Cora's going with all of the pick sixes.
Yes, every single one of them.
All right, Dan, what do you got? What's your play
Gink's
of the
pick
year?
six. First one of the year.
The one I called, I should actually pick.
Huh?
That's the one I called, by the
I
way.
know.
But I'm not going with that.
You're not. What are you going with?
I'm going with the 97-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Come on, it's 97 yards.
I picked
It
that
was
one,
sweet.
and then I was like, I just can't with Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Like how Sam finished or not, that was a 97-yard turn the game around pass.
It was.
Yep.
And I think after that was when we all said, hey, you know what? This could be a special season. And it wasn't as special as we wanted it, but
Honestly, because of that play, I felt like we were in every single game until, like I said, this last game, and I think it was like 11 minutes left for the fourth quarter. I was like, we could still come back. And then when they didn't look like they wanted to, that's when I was like, okay, we're not. But like, I still felt like we could come back because of that play. So I think that's a really good choice, John.
It's the whole thing of we flipped our thought process normally of if we're up by 24, we're like, oh crap, we could lose this.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We could lose this. And it became, I don't know, like for me, it wasn't necessarily that play. It was a continued performance throughout the year of like, we can come back. We got this.
He made me have so much hope.
oh, Cora, you poor lady. You should talk to me more.
She has been trapped in a glass cage of emotion.
I can't.
I've been doing it for a lot longer, and I don't get my hopes up very high anymore because if I do, I'll just crash harder. So I keep my expectations low.
Yeah.
And I agree, Q. The pick sixes were fantastic. And I loved the first one. I absolutely loved Gink just stepping in front of that pass. And like you didn't even realize it was a pick six until you watched the replay. Like, oh,
Right.
wow.
We were the only team to have a turnover in every single regular season game.
Yep. But I can't
That to be proud of.
I can't overlook a 97-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like I said, I had that one written down first.
You let your emotions take over, though.
I did, 100%.
Yep. All right, now the last award. Game of the year.
Wait, don't we have an X Factor one?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So who was your X Factor of the year player?
Ironically, I picked Blake Cashman.
Yeah, see, that's a good pick.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Cam Robinson.
Okay.
Is
So you're going with the
ability-
mid-season pickup.
What's
Yeah.
that?
You're going with the mid-season pickup.
Mid-season pickup, yeah. But his ability to step into a new offense. I mean, granted, your left tackle, you're kind of doing the same thing, but schemes and understanding play calling and everything as far as stunts, pulls, all that is different. And up until the last two games, I think he played extraordinarily well for us.
Mine's got to be Sam Darnold, right?
No, it doesn't.
I think it does.
That's
We were
fair.
supposed to win 6 games this year.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed when Sam Darnold was the quarterback.
Yeah. Everyone did, and now they're laughing still.
Yeah, they are now, but they're not in the playoffs if Sam Darnold isn't there.
We're right now, we are where we're supposed to have been,
Yeah.
but we far exceeded expectations.
So I think it's hilarious. So the whole year, everyone was talking and laughing about how, oh, it's Sam Darnold. Like, he's such a bad quarterback. You're not going to make it very far. You're going to have a really bad record, right? Because of Sam Darnold, because he was so bad. The last few games, especially Lions fans on Twitter, we're talking about, oh, well, you guys, like, you had a first-round draft pick. Like, he was a first-round draft pick. Like, you really think that people underestimated you? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, really? And now they're flipping it back to being like, oh, Sam Darnold. I'm like, make up your mind here. Make up your
Whatever
mind.
fits their narrative is what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
But for me, it has. If I'm going with an all-season X Factor, it's got to be Sam Darnold.
Regular season. Yeah.
Yeah, because we got picked on for having him. Everybody figured he was just a throwaway quarterback, and he far exceeded everybody's expectations.
Yeah, I really wanted him to. I wanted him to do well throughout the season, and I felt really bad for him in these last 2 games because I don't know what was off with him, but he was not the same Sam Darnold as we saw throughout any of the games. Like, even against the first time we played the Lions. Like, we've already played them.
We played the Rams.
Or even the first time we played the Rams. Like, I just don't understand.
I think he got in his own head.
Fair.
I think he got in his head, and I think he settled down a little bit after the Lions game coming into the Rams. But I think Sean McVay found a weakness in his reads and exploited it.
Mm-hmm. Again, McVay's playing chess when we're all playing checkers. He is really good at what he does.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, now can we pick the game of the year? Your favorite game of this year?
Mine's very obvious. The last Vikings-Packers game, because we went. It was electric. It was incredible. It was everything you think of a Vikings-Packers game. We won. It was amazing. It was amazing. That was my favorite game. And I would say it's because we went, yes, but also, like, we won. We played our hearts out. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Vikings.
There's nothing as great as being there, and I've only gotten the pleasure once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like
we both broke the cherry on our first Vikings Packers game.
Neither of us had ever been.
We did it with our middle kid,
Mm-hmm.
and we won. And it was an amazing, absolutely amazing game to be at.
That was a bucket list item that I was able to check off this year.
I've only been once, and I don't know that I'll ever get back, and I hope I do, but just to be able to get there one time was fantastic. And they won the day I went too, so it was great. My game of the year, it's one I've mentioned more than once on this show. the win over the Texans because it was the only complete game, the last complete game we played all season.
Yep.
I had a feeling you were going to go with that one.
They're like, you looked at that game and we did everything right on both sides of the ball in that game.
You're right, Q. We did almost win the first time we played the Lions.
Yeah, if we could have gotten a first down, we would have won that game, but we didn't.
Yep.
And this is why I don't understand why Sam Darnold fell apart. Because we already played the Lions, and we already played arguably our largest division rival in the Packers the week before.
Because it mattered more.
Because the Lions changed up what they did against us the first time, and we weren't ready for it.
No. I don't even think it was the Lions. I don't think the Lions beat us.
Same.
I think these last two games, more so the Lions game, we beat ourselves. Because at least in this game, it was Sam Darnold getting sacked and like him just not seeing things. Sam Darnold was overthrowing wide receivers and then underthrowing wide receivers and then like throwing to where they couldn't even catch. So I don't even think the Lions did a very good job. That's oh my gosh, I can't. That's the thing that makes
his pass accuracy against the Lions was absolutely garbage.
It was abysmal, yeah.
And it's like it
wasn't makes me mad.
That wasn't a fact of yes, the Lions changed what they did, but his ability to not throw a ball on target was what affected it.
Because how many times did he have a wide open receiver that he threw the ball to that would have scored a touchdown, but he overthrew? I don't think it was the Lions.
Too far ahead.
I don't think it was the Lions. I think it was Sam Darnold. Something happened with Sam Darnold after the Packers game.
He got the yips.
Yep. I think the pressure of a big game finally got to him.
Yeah.
I really wanted him to overcome.
We all did.
All the hate. I love a good underdog story.
They loved him in that locker room.
Yeah.
No.
He loved being in that locker room.
And I do feel like, and I don't, this is going to sound really awful, but it had a similar feel to when the Saints won the Super Bowl, when Katrina happened. This game had a very similar feel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I don't necessarily, there were a lot of questionable calls and a lot of no calls, like hands to the face to Brian O'Neill, the first quarter.
Like, Neil got his helmet ripped off 5 different times.
And so I feel like there were a ton of missed calls, and that could have been a game changer. But at the same time, we didn't play well enough. Sam didn't play well enough to get the receivers the ball. But the vibes for this were very off in the fact that it just felt like the Rams won. Like how they were calling the plays, like calling back that touchdown on a incomplete pass that literally no one agrees with. If you watch the Manning cast with Peyton Manning, Bill Belichick, and Eli Manning, their jaws dropped when they called it an incomplete pass. All 3 of them. None of them thought that was an incomplete pass.
It was intentional grounding, is what it was.
It felt
at minimum.
Yeah.
He made a motion. He put his hand forward, so it was like a push pass directly into the ground.
Right.
That is intentional grounding.
Yep. So
that's all that was.
I think I really hope they adjust that ruling this off season.
I think they said
to limit the scope of what's considered in the area of a receiver. Because last week against the Lions, 100%
there wasn't a receiver.
That was not in the direction of a receiver.
Well,
same thing against the Rams. Like, I'll give you the forward pass, but That's nowhere in the area of the receiver. That's not an intended pass to go to a receiver
And I
or
think
in the area of like it.
I think they said on the broadcast that because the flag wasn't thrown, one of the things that they can't review is intentional grounding.
That was a different play, wasn't it?
No, it was that play
It
because
was.
the intentional grounding can't come from New York. And so because a flag wasn't thrown, they couldn't call it intentional grounding. It still should have been a fumble. Like it shouldn't have been an incomplete pass. But I think that's why they said that it wasn't. That's why like the argument isn't so much that it's incomplete pass, but they're just baffled, or why it wasn't intentional grounding, but they're just baffled that they called it an incomplete pass.
I mean, maybe New York can't get involved, but the officials can definitely get together and talk about it and overturn it.
And you want to know what? They can throw a flag even when they can call a penalty even when there's no flag on the field.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that the NFL is scripted. I would hate to think that it is. But there's a small part of me. There's a small part of me where it's like these refs don't call plays that they should. And that's frustrating.
When they're like what gets me a lot of the times, and when I get frustrated with refs, with umps, when I'm coaching, is when it's called one way.
Yep.
When you call it one way for one team, but not the other. When it's holding against us, but it's not against the Rams. When it's a pass interference against us, but it's not against the Rams.
And it's funny because with all we're saying, the Rams were still penalized for 95 yards in that game on Monday night.
And you know what's crazy?
And they should have been
penalized
for
more.
so much more.
Yeah.
For so many more yards. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. And then when you let it go, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And largely, I think that could be a reason why O'Neal got a concussion.
Yeah.
Because they let all of it go.
Yeah.
They didn't call flags when they should have. So player safety in the NFL, I think, is BS. Especially when they this is going to be a longer tangent, and I would like to end this podcast on a happy note. So we might need to table this conversation for when we're all passionate about it next year.
That's fair. I don't have a Valhalla this week.
That's fair.
Okay. Yep.
I figured we would have other things to talk about, and I usually only talk about that for the next coming game, and we don't have one.
And we literally only have like 1 minute left, and it'll be an hour. So
yeah. And I'm not even going to do a question. I think we just want to thank everybody.
I think we should end on what we're most excited for next year.
Okay.
Before we do that, though, we do want to send a giant thank you to those who have joined us throughout.
Yep.
Jay, Q, Bob, Sal, Coda.
Luke joined us. Dustin joined us. Lindsay.
Everyone who's been here.
A Marie popped in from Japan.
Yeah.
Yes. A giant thank you
so much
for making this a lot more fun.
The comments are great.
We love interacting with each other, but we very much love interacting with you guys, and you guys bring interesting points along with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
When we decided to do this, and I was just looking, we had our initial talks were back last May about doing this. And I was hesitant to even go back into podcasting after being out of it, because the last couple experiences for me were just not great. But then I found two people who made it great again.
That was a really good high five.
Even on my worst days when I thought I can't do a show, once I got started, it was like, this is great. I'm glad we did the show. I've had a couple of times when I was just beat. Today is one of those times.
Yeah.
I'm going on like no sleep right now. But once we got started, even after the loss, it's like, I'm so glad we all got together and did this.
Same.
It has been such a wonderful pleasure experience. I'm very excited for next year because this will be happening next year.
We will.
We've got it. We're definitely coming back. I can't not do this now.
It's been so much fun.
Yeah. I started out very much she wants to get into the podcasting and the media and social media stuff, and I'm like, I'm here to support.
He's here for the pretty face.
Well, and it's funny because I knew Cora from social media, and Dan I didn't interact with all that much.
Yeah,
because that's not your thing.
That's what everyone says.
That's everyone's.
But like once we got talking, it's like, wow, why doesn't he do more stuff?
See, once you get talking, Dan, so I hook you in. Dan's the one that keeps you. That's what I always tell people is I hook you in, and then you start talking to Dan, and you're like, oh, Yankees this. Oh, this and this. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. Then there's this.
Yeah, like I find out I have things in common with Dan, so it's great.
Yeah.
But no, I'm always here to support her. So I'm always gonna do it as long as she does it. But I've come to really enjoy this and really enjoy these interactions and this hour and 5 or 15 minutes, whatever it ends up being.
Well, and the funny thing is, once we're done, most nights we aren't done.
Yeah, no, we talk afterwards.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got some real friends out of this as well, despite the great age difference here. I mean, we're talking Zim and his fiance difference. I think. But I don't feel that old anyway. Good. But no, we do. When we started to get like people showing up to the live broadcast, it got so much better.
It did. It got so much more fun.
It did. Yep.
And I'm so glad they stumbled upon us. And I think a lot of our friends who we've had on the show kind of helped that, which was great. We really have gotten a lot of support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From our social media folks. So we are blessed to have this time and to have you guys show up every week. And Q, it might be sooner than 7 months. We may see you. We're probably going to do something for the draft. So it'll be sooner than you think. But I know we all have our lives to get back to for a while.
Yeah.
We're going to have to figure out what my segment's going to be.
Next year.
It's not going to be the next time.
You're not going to have the next time?
I'm not going to do the next. I might touch on it every now and then, but.
Wow.
You can find another draft pick that you really, really wanted that somebody else took.
I'm going to find who everybody hates in the draft.
And that's going to be his guy.
The most overrated guy out of the draft.
Right.
Oh, Bob, I don't do mock drafts. But
oh my gosh, Bob, I don't follow college football very much.
Yeah, I know nothing about that. I am far too invested in the baseball season.
The Heisman winner, I knew that his first name started with a T. That is the extent.
I did a mock draft once, and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've covered everything.
We got to say what we're excited about next year.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you excited about?
Yep.
Got to end on a happy note.
Okay, what are you excited about?
I am excited about JJ McCarthy. I love his attitude. I love how excited he was for Sam Darnold this year. I love how engaged he was. I love the fact that he just tweets out, what is it? Omnifrati?
Amor Fati.
I was butchered that. Amor Fati.
Yep.
And
love
it's like,
fate.
It's about his fate. Love your fate. And I am really excited to see him play. Thor on Twitter, like literally is hyping him up like no one's business. Constant videos about him. And he's like, I will stake my career on him being really good. So I am really excited to see what he can do in this offense. I'm really excited to see KOC unleash him. And even if he can unleash him, make plays and hand the ball off to a running back, which we were missing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see JJ McCarthy in our offense because I am of the opinion that you can add almost any good quarterback into our offense and they will be great. So I'm very excited to see a above good quarterback in our offense.
So JJ's not my pick, but I am excited to see how KOC's choice of quarterback goes.
Yeah.
But my pick, which I'm really surprised at how this is going to turn out. I'm excited to see how Dallas Turner goes.
There you go.
Because I'm going on the defensive side.
Yeah, you guys kind of flip the script there.
Right. That's why I'm really surprised that she's going JJ and I'm going Dallas Turner.
I just love JJ so much. I just love that kid.
Because, I mean, we've seen some really good things from Dallas Turner. He started out the season. He looked rough around the edges. And near the end of the season, even though he wasn't starting, he was looking more polished. He was looking more like what I would expect from a young NFL linebacker. And I hope he puts on a little bit of weight and gains a little bit more strength. And I'm excited to see what he does. I want him. I want to see what he does. It won't happen next year. It's probably going to be like 3 or 4 years down the road. But I'm excited to see what he does with some man strength. Because it's funny because like when I was a kid growing up, going through baseball and everything is like you haven't gotten your man strength yet. Like just. Like once you get it, your bat speed, your running speed, everything just takes off. For whatever reason, mine hit when I was 33, and I put on 40 pounds of muscle, and
we were working
I was like, it wasn't like I've never put on that much muscle in one time of like a single kind of following a workout program, even through college and everything. Like, yeah, I was working out, I was strong, but not to the point where I could stand up and my warm-up deadlift was 365.
I will say one thing to add to my excitement is I'm very excited to see JJ to Jets. And now JJ to Addison. And get a third wide receiver.
How crazy. How funny if JJ throws to JJ who pitches to TJ.
It's not JJ, it's Jets. He wants to be called Jets.
I know. It's just funny.
All right, John, what do you got?
I am excited for the unknown. Who are we going to add to make this team better? Whether it be through the draft or free agency.
Yeah, or
I'm excited to see what we do to fill the gaps that are so blatantly obvious right now.
Who do we keep? Who do we get?
I think it'll be interesting to see, going off of that, who and how, or I guess who we get in terms of like who Kwesi trades for.
Right.
That I agree with you. I'm really excited about that because he's made some like, wow, really?
I would love. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Genty. I would love to get him.
Penn State ate him up and spit him out.
That's totally fine. Look at what his line did for opening holes for him. He did not they did nothing for him.
So then he'd be fit right in at Minnesota. Because our line doesn't open holes for anybody right now.
They don't but that's the whole thing of like if we get
Hunter.
Right? Are we gonna get
Travis Hunter, let's go.
like we've got to strengthen up our offensive line. That has to be a given, doesn't it?
It's got to be a priority, but I don't like first round draft picks on the offensive linemen.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Ginty. Get Ginty
Travis
as a
Kelce
first round
wasn't a
draft
first round
pick.
draft pick.
No, you know who I want, and we're not going to get him because he's going to go early. I want the kid from Penn State. I want Abdul Carter.
But he's not a realistic pick. He's going to go way earlier than 24.
Unless we move up to get him.
Is he worth what
Yes.
we have to pay for him?
Oh, yes. He is worth moving up to get.
Really?
That kid played against Notre Dame with one arm and was all over the field. He gets held every time he rushes the quarterback. Every time. I'm not talking once in a while. No, every time, and they let it go because it's the only way to neutralize him is to hold that kid.
But
He
it
is
is
the real deal.
All right.
is
Mock draft.
I don't know. We'll get into it later.
JB wants
Carter.
Carter.
Yep.
I want
I know
Carter.
nothing about college football, so
I'm a Penn State diehard, so I watched this kid play all season.
I didn't even
This
know
is
who
making me
Ginty
want
was.
to actually like research players and figure
I didn't
out.
even know who Ginty was, so here we are.
He's one of the top running backs.
Yeah, but he's a
Yeah.
Boise State kid.
Yep,
Yep.
I looked him up while you guys were talking.
Our last Boise State kid didn't do so well.
No, he did not. He's now on the Raiders.
Yep. I do think we need a little bit more of like a Derrick Henry type running back,
Travis Hunter.
a bruiser.
The kid from Arizona State.
I'd have to research.
Wait, he's got a funky name too.
We like funky
We
names.
like funky names.
Hold on. Cam Scattaboo, that's who it is.
Scattaboo, let's
Cam
go.
I bet
That's
it's
who he
name
is.
Scat.
Can you imagine Cam Scattaboo in the backfield?
That means poop.
Scat?
Yes.
Yes.
Scat means poop.
Maybe it'll be Boo. Hey, Boo.
Go find some highlights of this kid. He's probably not going to break any speed records, but he can run people over.
Perfect. That's what
Love
I
it.
want. That's exactly what Derrick Henry did. Stiff arm, straight down to the ground, and run through them.
Scattaboo runs people over.
I'll take it.
And I believe he can throw the ball a little bit too.
That we don't want that. Nope. Just run.
He did
No.
everything in that playoff game against Texas. He was amazing.
I just Googled him, and the first one of the top things that came up, Cam Scattaboo is a college football legend.
Ooh.
He had a great season.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right. Let's go.
So that wouldn't be if he kind of dropped down. Although I don't like using running backs as first round picks either. I've always had a thing against running backs.
So who's your first? What position is your first round draft pick?
Since you don't want an offensive lineman and you don't want running backs,
Safety. We need safeties.
but what if we keep Bynum and Metellus?
One of them they can transfer.
What
to
about
corner.
cornerback?
Safeties can play corner.
It's got to be a safety. Somebody's got to step in because we're losing.
You get a free safety that can end up also playing press coverage and also work into a dime package. That's not a bad choice.
I want a safety. If we're not going to safety, they better get somebody on the interior defensive line
That's fair.
because that's been a problem too.
That's fair.
Offensive line we definitely need, but I want to go out and find guys, add free agents or trades maybe. I'd rather get some guys that have established themselves in the league blocking for the kid than to put more kids in front of the kid and
That's
not know what you're going to get.
We have a really good job. We do a really good job of drafting tackles. We have too many tackles. We need to figure out how to do guards.
We do whiff on safeties a lot.
Yeah.
Whiff on
And
safeties.
cornerbacks.
Whiff on safeties? What do you mean?
Kyle Hamilton was on the board and we didn't take
One safety.
On drafting
Seen. That's the only safety we whiffed on.
and cornerbacks. On I would have just had to say we whiff on defensive back.
we skipped Kyle Hamilton when he was on the board, and that was a tough one to handle.
And we didn't get Winfield, even though we didn't need him. I'm still bitter about that.
We still should have taken Winfield Jr. out of respect for his father.
Exactly. And the fact that he was like
A gopher.
That's right, Bob. That's what we got. Nothing for Hamilton.
and Scene is garbage and Booth is not. Yeah. Questies does a really good job of finding people not in the draft.
Yeah, he goes out and he picks up free agents and makes deals.
Or undrafted players. He does a
drafting
really good job.
hasn't been his strength, but he's picked up a couple of good players. But it's like one guy, right? But it's the guys he's getting that are any good are really good.
Yeah.
But the rest of his drafts are like meh.
Yeah.
Like if McCarthy and Turner work out, that's probably his best draft ever.
100%.
For time with us.
Coming first.
Oh my gosh. All right.
All right, we've talked for an hour and 15 minutes.
Sorry we kept you all.
We
just
don't
can't
want to. We
stop.
don't want to say goodbye. It's the Minnesota goodbye.
Yeah, it's the Minnesota goodbye.
Yeah, it does. It lasts forever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it carries it to the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't do that though. I have an early case.
No, it was a great. I had such a good time this year doing this.
Same.
Same.
It flew by, and I'm really sad that it went.
Yeah.
fast.
It doesn't.
But you guys are the best. You're awesome. I honestly couldn't have found two better people to work with. I really couldn't.
Well, we needed a leader,
Yep.
and you lead us, John. We're just here for the spicy tidbits and the ADHD content,
Yeah.
and you funnel it
here.
and lead us to the promised land.
I'm here to get this thing off rail.
We've
And
managed.
you bring us back.
We managed to go off the rails every show.
Yeah.
We have the longest podcast ever,
Yep.
and a lot of it is just us. Like the name is perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
We have
it is.
no idea
It
where
really,
we're going
really
with
is.
this every week. We'd be cruising along like, oh, this is gonna be a short show, and then somebody mentions food. It's like, well, that's it. It's over.
There it is.
Yep.
Oh shoot.
And I'm surprised people are still here. Like,
Yeah.
we have people still listening to us right now.
That's great.
Let's go.
That's great. They don't want to say good.
They don't want to say goodbye
They're
either.
here for the Minnesota goodbye.
Yeah, they don't want to say goodbye
Yeah.
either. We don't want to say goodbye.
We'll be here
Don't
for
be
another
sad that
15
it's
minutes.
over. Be glad that it happened in the first.
It
You know,
was a pleasure.
What's really funny is
Oh
that
my
I am
gosh,
a
here we go
Californian.
And Dan's
and-
better at Minnesota goodbyes than
Up
I
in-
am.
Up until about 2 years ago, I was great at like, okay, goodbye, we're gone.
Now he
And-
stays in the house longer. I'm in the car waiting for him.
Like, where are you?
Yeah.
The kids are in the car, and I'm stuck in the house talking to cousins.
Talking about working out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you wanted to leave. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with the Minnesota goodbyes too. And I've never lived one day in the state, but
That's fair.
I know how to do a good Minnesota goodbye.
There you go. There you
All
go.
right, but this is it. You ready to take us out one last time?
One last time.
That was a really good
That
time.
was so
We'll see you next season, or at least around the draft. Let's go. Take us out.
Go.
Let's go.
Go.
Let's go.
Go. Go. Go.
Let's go.